history, I pause to take a sigh about the land, Afghanistan, where empires go to die. Alexander the Great, he tried and failed. The Mongols, they did too. The British and the Russians, they got their ass kicked too. America's been there many years, and I ask myself why we don't learn from history, where empires go to die. They say it's terrorism, that's political malarkey. Just follow where the money goes to a corporate oligarchy. The food crops they once grew with a plow and a hoe been turned into opium poppies, growing row on row. Our infrastructure's crumbling, our social structure too.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you The World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
This is Night Dreams Talk Radio Network News, and I'm James Creechbaum. Well, for all the truckers out there listening tonight, here's a brief weather report. In the northwest, be careful. There's going to be some mixed precipitation with some freezing rain, and that's going to go all the way from Washington down into Oregon, over into Idaho. And then along the coast, it's going to be rain, and sometimes heavy at spots. Now you get more on east into some of Nevada, Wyoming, Utah, and Four Corners area. There's going to be snow on into mid-plains, Kentucky, Missouri, into middle Illinois. You're going to be looking for mixed precipitation. A little bit north of there, and you're looking a little bit of snow. Now, below that, it's going to be all rain, and then further south, heavy rain. So be careful up there. Watch for whiteouts and freezing rain. Here is a sighting from the truckers out there. This is from a trucker. Here it goes something like this. His report. As my truck entered a gradual highway curve to the left, his eyes locked on a large, tall, brown mass moving in front of a tree line ahead of him. For several seconds, as his truck barreled closer, he got an increasingly clear view of this large mass that quite obviously was standing on two legs, and it took off walking into the woods. Here is another account from a trucker while on the road. And it was him and the dispatcher were talking. Let's see. As I'm in my 18-wheeler, I encountered an 8-foot biped covered with shaggy, brownish gray hair walking south in the northbound lane on the east side of the road. Now, they had heard about it on the CB radio a quarter hour earlier and saw cars in front of them veer around it. So they slowed to 5 miles an hour as they went by. And the one witness said they actually made eye contact with the cryptid. Estimated to weigh 400 to 500 pounds. It had unbelievably long arms, a longer, taller head than a human, and turned its whole body, not its neck. It appeared calm but possibly confused. A pilot records odd white cigar-shaped object from the cockpit over Utah. A plane pilot claims to have filmed at 40,000 feet flying cigar-shaped UFO through the air above Utah. Now, the video taken over the U.S. state Zion National Park shows a mysterious white object making its way across the sky. The shape tends to be much like a cigar or even a Tic Tac, matching hundreds of similar sightings in recent months. The witness goes on to report the video recording is taken from the cockpit at 40,000 feet of an object flying at a lower altitude over the terrain. Not sure what it is that we're filming. Spanish Navy files disclosure underwater UFOs and thin Swedish-looking beings, while the Spanish Air Force declassified about 180 UFO files a few years ago. Now, inside them are several mundane sightings until you get to one absolutely wild encounter in the Canary Islands in 1976. And a report goes something like this. 3 sailors witnessed a translucent spherical craft rise up out of the island off Tenerife before departing in a cloud of blue smoke. Now, 3 minutes later, and 60 miles away, on the island of Gran Canaria, 10 different citizens saw the same translucent craft described as blue with a crystalline structure, and 3 of them, one of whom was in a different location as the other 2, told military officials they saw 2 10-foot tall beings inside of this craft, described as looking like Swedish tourists with diving gear on. The military investigated the entire phenomenon and rolled it unexplained. Another Tic Tac UFO encounter occurred, claims an intelligent expert. U.S. Navy submarine encountered a 500-mile-per-hour Nimitz UFO in the ocean 4 years after the sighting. A former United States Air Force intelligence expert claims he found reports of the Los Angeles-class submarine seeing an unidentified submerged object in a 2007 or 2008 that traveled at 550 miles per hour underwater. It supposedly matched the descriptions of the USS Nimitz UFO. Next news break, top of the hour.
Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am, from coast to coast, from East Coast, West Coast to East Coast, and all the truckers in between and worldwide. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. I'm your host, Gary, and I hope everybody here tonight is having a great night and staying out of trouble. I know that I have stayed out of trouble today. I babysat today. Yes, my son's 2 dogs, and these dogs are like 125 pounds each. So they're not small, but I can tell you what, they get into everything. I hate to hear my wife tonight when she goes to bed, her new slippers she just bought to replace her other slippers. Guess what? One of them is chewed up again. Well, what can I say? They're only slippers. Well, you know, in the news today, well, another volcano is getting ready to erupt. It seems like it's one right after another going on. What do you think about that, James?
You're absolutely right. There's all kind of volcanic activity going on. And I've also seen a lot of reports, a lot of volcanic activity underneath the oceans as well, along with seismic activity, and it's creating possibly some tsunamis.
Oh, yeah. Well, a trucker is accused of selling $36,000 worth of diesel that he's been pilfering for the last few months.
You don't suppose that he's the one that's got the station out there in the backyard in Vegas?
I don't know. That guy only sold probably, premium gas. I mean, there was no talk about. I could see semi trucks going in the guy's backyard in Las Vegas. I don't think so, James. I really don't.
I know. I hope not. I really don't hope. I hope not, because that's all. You're just asking for danger right there, trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? A homeowner comes home and gets ready to use a toilet.
Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Let me
Yeah, a python is having a bath in her toilet.
What is going? This is like the animals are rising up against mankind, especially the snakes. They're leading the charge. They've had to have a meeting somewhere and say, "Look, we're going to attack from within. We're going to go in through the toilets and bite right in the old butt." I mean, it's just, oh my goodness! How many times has this happened, Gary?
I have no idea, but you know what? I think Skype on your end is not holding up because you're kind of like digitalizing a little bit. Yeah, and that's why I had you disconnect and call back. And it's not on my end because I can check that, and I'm checking, and it's coming from your end. But we'll live with it as long as we can here tonight.
Well, maybe when we break, I'll redo my connection or something. I don't know. I haven't touched nothing, but you know how Skype is. That's for sure.
Well, I don't think it's anything you touched. I just think it's Skype. That's what, a lot of people that come on as guests or want to come on as guests. The first thing they say, can I use Skype? They get mad at me and I go, no, we use Skype on the show. And anytime I risk talking to somebody with Skype, because one Skype, then you got two Skypes, then you got three Skypes, and undoubtedly there's going to be a problem with one of the Skypes.
Yeah, because sometimes Skype don't like to hook into itself.
Yeah, well, they rescued an owl. I wonder if this owl was an alien. It was a beast. It was too fat to even fly.
Oh, wow. I have never heard anything like that before, but, that's a good point. There's been a lot of connections between aliens and visitation and false memories of seeing owls. So, and here's one that can't fly.
Yeah.
Overeat. I'd never heard of an obese owl that couldn't fly.
Well, this one must have ate a lot of mice or something.
I guess so. Wow.
Well, in Florida, besides, young women, old women, guys, window shopping, which a lot of women do that, that. But there's a new breed of window shoppers in Florida. It turns out to be an alligator. It's been going up to windows and just staring in the windows.
That would kind of get your attention if you're looking out the window and a big, alligator looking back at you with his teeth.
I have no idea. I saw a video here lately of this guy that swims with an alligator, and they're like buddies, and the guy's brushing the teeth of the alligator and wire brushing the alligator, and the alligator shows no aggression. So I don't know. Maybe it had brain damage and doesn't realize it's a alligator.
I'll tell you, I don't trust them. I don't trust swimming with them. I've seen what little 3-footers can do. They can take a heck of a hunk out of you. And they like to sneak in your pools in the backyard when you're not looking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they also like eating people, too. Like if you're too close to the beach. The saltwater alligators are the one you really have to watch out because they can get huge. And they can just take you in one bite. One bite.
I seen one, I think it was in Thailand. It was so big, Gary, they had it on the back of one of them big, for excavating. They was hauling it on the back of a trailer and pulling it with this thing, and it was hanging over both ends of it. Its head was huge. I mean, it was a monster. It looked like a dinosaur is what it looked like.
Yeah, boy, can you? Then I saw a picture here of a guy with a catfish. It took two guys to hold it. And here they're going to eat the catfish. And this catfish, they said, was maybe up to 300 years old. I would have, if I would have caught a catfish that big, I couldn't, I would just let it go. I mean, it be that huge, but I guess they eat virtually everything too, including dead bodies.
Yeah. Listen, you hit it on the head several times when you compare what we eat to what aliens might eat. We eat everything. You sent me a little video today that kind of confirmed